for the problems on Boyle's Law worksheet, we're told to assume that all of the problems have a constant temperature, which is what you need in order to apply Boyle's Law to these problems. Assuming that we have a constant temperature, problem number 1 states that we have a sample of oxygen gas that occupies a volume of 250 milliliters at 740 torr pressure. What volume will it occupy at 800 torr pressure? So the best method to solve these problems is to first just make a list on the side of the variables that you've been given, and then figure out what variable it is you're trying to solve for. So if we break the problem down, we have a sample of oxygen gas with a volume of 250 milliliters. 250 milliliters would be our V1 because it's our initial volume. And it tells us that at that volume it has a pressure of 740 torr, which is our initial pressure, so that's our P1. Now, the question is asking, what volume will this gas occupy at 800 torr pressure? So we're given our final pressure, our P2, that's 800 torr, and the variable that we're trying to solve for is our final volume, our V2. So once you have this list of variables written down, the problem becomes very easy to solve. It's now just an algebraic expression, and we're going to use the same formula, Boyle's Law, to solve all of these problems. So Boyle's formula is P1 times V1 equals P2 times V2. So we're just going to plug in those variables that we just wrote down and solve the expression. So our P1 we said was 740 torr, and our V1 was 250 milliliters. Now I indicate multiplication by parentheses. Our P2 was 800 torr, and our V2 is what we're trying to solve for, so we're just going to leave that as V2. Now to solve this, we need to get V2 by itself, and so we're simply going to do the opposite. Right now they're multiplied together, so we do the opposite to get them to go away. So we do 800 divided by 800 torr. That's going to cancel that out, leaving us with just V2 on this side, which is good. Whatever you do to one side of an algebraic equation, you must do to the other. So we're going to come over to this side and divide by 800 torr. If you notice, your units of torr are going to cancel out, which is perfect because once we solve this, it'll give us our units for our volume, which is milliliters. So now we're just going to punch this into our calculator. We have 740 times 250 divided by 800. Punch that into your calculator and you can round to the whole number. So this would leave you with 231 milliliters is equal to V2. So on our line we can go down and put our answer. That's 231, and don't forget your units. In order to get full credit for these problems, you must show your work. So you must have your variables written out, your formula with the units, and then have your answer on the line.